Hey guys, welcome back to Tabletop Glory. My name is Graham Johnson. Today we are painting an African American skin tone. This is only the second time I've ever attempted to do this. The first time was for a commission for a figurine that had been 3D printed of John Boyega as his stormtrooper without his helmet. And this really turned out great in my opinion. I really like where I ended up and the colors I got, although for some reason the way that the light is reflecting off the paint here in this beginning clip, it doesn't really do it justice. There's a clip I've got that I'm going to put in at the end that does a lot better job at showing off the skin tones and his face a lot better. But hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Now today's video is not a tutorial. I will do an explanation of the colors I used to get his skin tone, but other than that, everything else along the way is just going to be a let's paint, so you guys can just kind of watch my process and see how I paint when I'm just painting a miniature for myself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get on with the video. So here I'm just starting out with a really light layer of Mournfang Brown. Now I used a bit of thinning medium, you could use a glazed medium or something like this, and I'm basically putting on two really thin coats, and that's just so that my zenithal highlight shows through. And this does a really good job mixing with the red and the Mournfang Brown to get us a good base for our skin tone. I then use Rhinox Hide as a bit of a darker glaze to kind of mix into our shadows, and to mix in to basically take the place of what would be Reikland Flesh Shade when doing Caucasian skin tones. For the highlights, and only in the extreme highlights, I mixed in a very small amount of Gorthorn Brown, and that's basically 1 part Gorthorn Brown to 5 parts Mournfang Brown. That's how little I added to this, and it really brightened the color significantly. And I kept applying this as a glaze, and only in the face did I add just a small touch more of the Gorthorn Brown, and that was just really on the bridge of the nose and the upper edge of the cheekbones to really make sure that the face popped. One of the final stages I did, I added just a tiny bit of XV88 to our final skin mixture. Now this was just for my extreme highlights where the sun was touching, so the very tip of the nose, the upper areas of the cheekbones. I did a little bit on the chin, and I did it across the tops of the knuckles, and a very thin glazing of it across the tops of the arms. Every now and again somebody asks me how long does it take to paint a miniature, and I usually say that it entirely depends on how familiar I am with that miniature and the physical size of that miniature. To put this into perspective, I really wanted to learn what I was doing here, and so I took my time, and this stage alone took almost an hour. Now, by no means were there any major complications such as adding scars or anything like that. I was just making sure that I got the skin values correct, and I was building things up from such a very light glazing of colors that I just needed to make sure that I just trusted the process and kept adding layers until I got the skin tones to where I needed them. I then actually used those skin tones as almost like a mother color to then go in and paint all of the leathers so that I would have similar tones with all of my browns and other dark colors. You'll also see me using those later on to shade some of the fabric. And again, this was just another experimentation because I've only recently learned about mother color and the fact that you should have this color throughout the rest of a model to help unify it and bring it together. And again, this is something that I wanted to experiment with, and I wanted to do an experiment with it before I attempted to make a video teaching about it. So take what I'm doing with a grain of salt by adding this color all throughout the rest of the model, but when it was all said and done, I did enjoy its final appearance. Like I promised in the beginning, the only thing that I was really doing a tutorial for was the skin tones, and even though it's not a real tutorial, it's just me explaining how I got to them. If that was all you came here for, I completely understand, but if you want to stick around and watch the rest of the model, I really appreciate that. Just real quick, I'm going to say this and then we'll cut back in at the end and I'll do my final goodbye and my outro like we always do. But thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It's been really awesome seeing all of you comment on the channel and comment on videos, as well as all the likes on the previous videos. I'm blown away by how many of you actually really enjoy watching me paint miniatures, and how many of you have told me that you've gotten into miniature painting as a direct result of both my content here and my content on TikTok. I am very, very grateful, and I try to not let that slip past me at any point when I'm painting, especially when I'm painting for a video. It's really humbling to know that what I'm doing is inspiring so many people. As always, there is a Amazon wishlist down below. It has a mixture of models and tools and equipment and things that I would love to use for future videos. If you decide to buy something and you would like a shout out, you can go ahead and make one of those little comment cards that they send along with the gifts and just tell me what your username or your real name or whatever you want to be shouted out as. And as long as it's appropriate, I will give you a shout out in the video where we use the products that you sent me. I am so grateful to anybody who's done that. A lot of the paints that have been used on this channel to do some of the more cooler effects have actually been provided by fans, and I'm very grateful for that. And if you want to do a one-time donation, there are also donation links in the link tree in the description. Thank you guys so much for just anything that you've given me. I've never really asked for anything. I've just made it available. And I'm so grateful by the generosity of you. Now, I understand that not everybody has the ability to do that, and not everyone's financial situation allows them to be able to be as generous as they may want to be. But a really, really awesome way to be generous to me and the channel is just to watch the video all the way through, to hit the like button or the dislike button, but most importantly, share it around with any of your friends that are hobbyists or any of your hobby groups that you think would like my type of content. I know I'm growing all the time, and some of my videos have a ton of editing and some of them don't have as much editing. I'm still kind of trying to figure out my style, but like I said before, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It is astounding. But enough from me. I'll let you guys get on with the video. And there you have it, guys. That was this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, I know this was a bit of a weird video because we did both a hyperfocus and a let's paint, where I normally don't talk much about what's going on screen other than generalized colors. This time I decided for the whole second half of the video, I was just going to let you guys watch my process. And I know with as many cuts as what there is and not showing you the full video, it can be kind of hard to pick up on what I'm doing. But I wanted to do that because I want to encourage you guys to play around with colors and mixing and blending colors. Mixing and blending colors is one of the things that in this hobby can really help take your paint schemes to the next level, and it's really easy to do that with an airbrush, but I want you guys to experiment with that with your normal brush painting. In any case, I really appreciate all the love and support that you guys have shown, not only my channel but my content, especially the content recently about Dungeons and Dragons. That's content that I've really wanted to put out for a while, and I want to put more videos out like that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope your display case is always full and your pile of shame never runs empty. Until next time, guys.